Hello everybody, Brian Gleize from the Scott Insurance Agency. As an insurance agent, I'm blessed to be able to help a lot of individuals with their Medicare coverage. In the previous video, we talked about standard Medicare parts A for hospitalization and B for doctor's office visits. In this particular video, we're going to talk about standalone prescription drug coverage, also known as Medicare Part D, as in drugs. Now I have an outstanding model that I've hired here. In my last video, my outstanding model was called Mom. In this video, the outstanding model is called Dad. So everybody say hi to my dad. We spared no expense again on this video for props, Medicare Part D prescription coverages. Born in 2006, it's when it was created. Now, when the prescription drug program came along in 2006, I don't like starting off this way, but the word penalty came up in 2006 as well. Most people already know this, but in case you don't, it is mandatory for you to pick up a Medicare Part D or a prescription drug program, or you will be penalized. If you're gainfully employed and have one through your employer, no worries. That will maintain your penalty-free status until you choose to retire, and then we would sign up for a prescription drug program. So in the county that I live in, there's 28 different types of prescription drug programs. Sounds easy, right? Well, the good news is that a licensed agent like myself will help you take those 28 plans and pare them down to reasonable choices. Medicare is provided by the government. Part D prescription drug plans is provided by individual companies, and there's a whole laundry list of those companies. So premiums for prescription drug plans can range anywhere from inexpensive as $15 a month to Katie bar the door on the other end. Now, prescription programs are made of 4 building blocks, and let's talk about those building blocks, okay? Dad, if you'll go get Medicare here in a second for me. We have more guest speakers coming in. So here is the building blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first building block is the deductible. If your plan has a deductible, the deductible has to be met. After the deductible is the initial INI, initial coverage stage. Just like you're used to. You go to the pharmacy, you pay a simple copay, and the pharmacist gives you your medication. Then comes the coverage gap. I don't know if you've heard about the coverage gap before. It's called a donut hole. Some people have colorful things that they call it, but the coverage gap has changed over the years for the better. And then lastly is the catastrophic phase, where prescription drugs become extremely inexpensive. So these 4 stages start on a calendar year. They start in January and they run to December. In January, your prescription drug costs are 0. It's extremely important to know how they keep track of your prescription drug costs. After you've met your deductible, your prescription drug may cost $5 when you go to the pharmacy, but the actual cost of that drug is $20. Now, which one of these numbers do you think that the government keeps track of? If you said the higher number, you're correct. Even though you pay $5, the actual drug cost is $20, and that's what the government keeps track of. So move through your deductible. They keep track of your actual drug costs until your drug costs get to $4,020. That's when you enter the coverage gap. Now, the coverage gap used to mean that they paid 0. They paid absolutely nothing for your drugs until you met that next level of $6,350. Now, that caused a lot of heartache. The good news is that that's no longer the case. The coverage gap has been reduced and basically removed to where you simply pay a little bit higher of a copay. If you ever get into the catastrophic phase, prescription coverage is extremely inexpensive. Now, you'll notice this is January and this is December. So what happens in a lot of cases, guys, is a lot of my folks will never even reach the coverage gap stage And they do that by making sure that they are on generic drugs, not brand name drugs. Some folks will get into the coverage gap, but every once in a while we'll get a person in January, work their way up, get into the coverage gap, but never get into the catastrophic phase. Now that's not a bad thing. It's just important for you to know how this chart works. I don't expect you to commit this to memory. I do expect you to hopefully work with a licensed insurance agent that will be able to walk you through this and use tools to help you understand. I use a website called Medicare.gov, and the reason why I use that website is because it doesn't slant towards any particular insurance carrier. It's supposed to be objective. Now I'm going to bring my prescription drug coverage back in here, and my prescription drug coverage is going to bring Medicare along with them. That's perfect right there. So these two plans work in tandem with one another. Medicare Part A and B and your prescription drug plan, Part D. Technically, these are the only two pieces of the puzzle that you need to avoid any penalties, all right? Now I'm going to show you something very interesting. Mom, let go of Dad for just a second. I can take the prescription drug coverage every single year and I can modify it. If you went off some medication, I can take the prescription drug coverage and I can move it a different direction to bring your costs down. If you were on more medications, I can take the prescription drug coverage and move it to a higher level. You can do this one time every year, and that starts on October 15th through December 7th. I suggest that each one of my clients come visit with me. Let's talk about the medications that you're on, that you were able to get rid of, or new medications. The most important thing to know is while Mom and Dad, or Medicare Part A and B and Medicare Part D, work together quite well as a married couple should, there's still a little space in between them. And that's important, so I can move that prescription drug coverage if I need to move it for you. So guys, this is just a brief overview of why you have to have a Part D prescription drug program. This is a standalone drug program that works in tandem with Medicare to avoid penalties. Again, the timing for this is when you turn age 65 or you originally qualify for Medicare, and that can be under the age of 65 through disability. Really important stuff in order to set your health care path for the rest of your life, essentially. Please remember to work with a licensed insurance agent that can show you your options. They should sit down with you, take the 28 plans that's available, narrow them down, and explain which one is for you. So guys, thank you for your time and attention. In closing, we're going to review some slides that we used for this program. Whenever we review these slides, if you want to look at them a little bit longer, just push the pause button. So the next video that we're going to be making is about Medicare supplements, and this is a series of videos. So make sure you go to our YouTube page, check out the entire series. Let us know if we can help. Again, I'm Brian Gleize from the Scott Insurance Agency. Thank you very much.